The story begins with a fierce, beautiful black woman named Perfidia who spends her days watching the government's brutal immigration detention centers. She hates what she sees. Innocent people locked up like animals just for crossing a border. That fire inside her leads her straight into French 75, a rebel group that fights the system by breaking immigrants out and setting them free in the city. One night, during a mission planning, she meets Pat, a quiet bomb maker from the same crew. Sparks fly instantly. That very night, 200 detainees are about to taste freedom. Perfidia pulls Pat aside. "I'll grab the head officer," she whispers. "You open the cages." He nods, and the team moves in. Under the cover of darkness, they storm the camp. While her comrades free the prisoners, Perfidia corners the camp's top officer, a smug man named Steve who can't hide the hunger in his eyes the moment he sees her. She presses a blade to his throat and tells him exactly who French 75 is and why they'll never stop. Steve is stunned, but mostly by her body. He's already hard, and she feels it. With a cold smile, she drags him outside in that ridiculous state just to humiliate him. Explosions rip through the camp. Detainees run free. Steve and his officers end up locked in their own cells. As the smoke clears, Steve snarls at Perfidia. "We'll meet again soon." She just laughs and walks away with Pat. After the adrenaline of that night, the two of them fall hard for each other. From then on, they hit different camps together, growing closer with every raid, every bomb, every stolen kiss in the shadows. Perfidia rises fast. She becomes the face of French 75, the leader everyone fears and follows. Pat builds bigger and better bombs just for her. They're legends now. One day, during another breakout, Steve spots them again. He watches Perfidia's hound linger on Pat's arm and feels jealousy burn. He knows something is going on between them, and he hates it. Not long after, Perfidia and Pat sneak into a major government building to plant a huge bomb. She slips into a bathroom to set the timer, but Steve has been watching her every move. He grabs her from behind. For the first time, she's scared, truly scared, but she knows the power she still has over him. "Let me go," she breathes, "and I'll give you whatever you want." A wicked grin spreads across his face. Tomorrow night, a hotel, just you and me. She kisses him, slow and dangerous, then walks out like nothing happened. Pat is waiting outside. She says nothing about the deal. The next night, Perfidia steps into the hotel room wearing fire. She takes Steve's own gun, presses it under his chin, and plays a filthy Who's Your Daddy game with him. She ties him up, edges him, ruins him in every way he secretly craves. 8 months later, she's heavily pregnant and more ruthless than ever. Pat, however, is terrified. He has no idea the baby might not be his, and the thought of raising a child in war tears him apart. Perfidia only wants bigger fights, louder explosions, total revolution. She gives birth to a little girl. The moment Perfidia holds her daughter, everything shifts, but not the way Pat hopes. He falls completely in love with the baby and wants peace. Perfidia feels trapped. One day, she tells him, "I've always lived for myself. I'm not stopping now. You'll never understand our fight." She walks out and never looks back. Pat raises their daughter alone, pouring every ounce of love into her. He names her Charlene. Years pass. One day at a mall, Steve spots them. He asks about the kid. Pat says proudly, "My daughter, Charlene." Steve's lip curls at the name, mutters something racist under his breath and leaves. Pat feels the chill but says nothing. 2 months later, Perfidia leads a crew of French 75 women in a daring bank robbery to fund the cause. Things go wrong fast. A guard moves at the wrong time, and Perfidia shoots him dead. Suddenly, they're running for their lives. After a wild chase through the streets, the police corner her. Steve walks in to gloat. 40 years, sweetheart. The government doesn't like your kind." Tears in her eyes, she whispers, "Steve, I love you. Get me out." He smiles like a shark. "You live with me forever, and you give me every name in French 75. She nods. Meanwhile, Pat and little Charlene are on the run. A young genius from the group gives Pat new identities. He's now Bob, and to protect them, the story becomes that Charlene's mother died giving birth to her. They vanish. The government hunts French 75 without mercy, beating and killing the revolutionaries one by one. Yet every time a leader falls, someone new steps up. The group never dies. Steve that's promoted again and again, medals pinned to his chest for crushing the enemy. Perfidia, now under house arrest in luxury as Steve's dirty secret, watches the news of his promotions and feels sick. One night, she hands him a letter. "I will never be anyone's slave." She disappears that same night. New country, new name, gone forever. 16 years later, Charlene, now called Willa under their fake life, is a strong, graceful teenager training hard in karate under a tough Mexican master named Carlos. Pat, worn down by years of hiding and smoking too much weed, lives only for her. Her teacher tells him, "Your daughter is brilliant, patient. She's going far." Tears fill Pat's eyes. "She's just like her mother," he says softly. Across the country, the detention camps have grown into monstrous cities of cages, all run by Colonel Steve, now a powerful, decorated monster. One day, his officers tell him a message has come from the fire-right white supremacy group, an elite club of rich, racist white men led by a politician named Tony. They want to meet. Steve walks into a room full of cold eyes. Tony likes Steve's record. Thousands of immigrants jailed or dead because of him. They offer him a dead cabinet member seat, real power, on one condition: a full background check to make sure he's never mixed blood. Steve swears he's clean. Tony smiles thinly. "We don't want any half-breed accidents in our ranks." Steve agrees, but inside he's panicking, because 16 years ago, Perfidia didn't just walk out on him, she took the secret of their child with her, or so he thinks.
Somewhere in the shadows, French 75 still rounds a secret radio station. Mark is the voice behind it, whispering warnings to the last free members. One night, officers kick down the door and drag him out screaming. Neighborhood kids see everything. They rush to the microphone and broadcast the arrest live, giving every rebel connected to Mark precious minutes to disappear. Pat is one of them. In a dark interrogation room, the questions come fast. They want Pat's real name, his location, everything. Steve made sure of that. Mark feeds them fake names until they threaten his sister Pamela and her whole family. He breaks. Every secret spills out. The officers smile and carry the information straight to Steve. Far away in another city, Pat, now living as Bob, keeps his teenage daughter Willa hidden in a quiet house deep in the woods. He hears helicopters slicing the sky and knows what's coming. Steve has turned the entire city into a hunting ground, rounding up anyone who looks like an immigrant, filling the camps again. And somewhere in that net, he's looking for Willa too. Willa tells her dad she's heading to a school party. Pat pulls her close. "I've told you everything about your mother. I've taught you every French 75 code. Never forget them." She smiles. "Dad, I've known them by heart forever." Her friends arrive. Pat scares the life out of them with a quiet, deadly warning: "Hurt my daughter, and I hurt your mothers." Then he watches them drive away. At the party, a woman named Mars finds Willa, whispers the old safe code, and everything changes. "Danger is coming tonight. I worked with your parents years ago. You have to come with me now." Willa trusts her and leaves without a word. Back home, Pat's phone rings. French 75 again. Officers are minutes away. They need the security code to let him into the safe house with Willa. Pat freezes. He hasn't used those codes in years. They tell him Mark cracked, sold him out. Rage floods him. But the codes still won't come. The line goes dead. They don't trust him anymore. The door explodes open. Pat's already gone, slipping through an old tunnel. He calls again from the street, begging. Still no code, still no location. Meanwhile, Carlos, the karate master, gets a warning call from his wife. Officers are everywhere. Pat shows up at the dojo, desperate. Carlos has been hiding hundreds of immigrants in the floors above. Pat begs for weapons, for help. Officers question Villa's friends and discover she's been hiding a secret phone. Mars and Villa race toward the safe house. Mars asks the question Villa has feared her whole life. Do you know about Steve and your mother? Villa repeats what Pat always told her. An officer named Steve killed my mom. Mars takes a breath and tells her the raw truth. Steve tears the city apart. Carlos locks terrified families into hidden rooms. Pat keeps calling, keeps getting shut out. Finally, he reaches Matt, an old brother-in-arms. They trade the ancient Czech question. What kind of girls do you like? Mexican. Recognition hits. Matt tells the others Pat is a legend. He gives him an address, an abandoned church. Officers storm Carlos's building. Carlos shoves Pat and a handful of young fighters toward the roof. They leap from building to building until Pat slips and falls hard. Boots surround him. He's caught. At the church, Mars hides Villa in a back room full of nuns who secretly fight for the cause. Far away, Tony's men finish digging into Steve's past. They find the old affair, the Black Revolutionary, the pregnancy. Tony's face goes stone cold. Send the killer. Steve and the girl both died tonight. Villa trains with the nuns like her mother once did, fierce and fast. Officers drag Pat to a hospital bed, chain him down, and a nurse slips in, Carlos Center, and cuts him free. He runs. Steve tracks Villa's hidden phone straight to the church. Officers flood in, guns blazing. Nuns fall. Mars is arrested. Villa stands alone as Steve walks up, staring like he's seeing a ghost. He orders an instant DNA test right there among the pews. Villa screams, "Pat is my father!" The machine beeps. Positive. She's his. Steve's world collapses. Tony will never let him in now. Pat and Carlos race to the church. Carlos drops him at the gates. Pat charges in, gun raised. He sees Steve dragging Villa away and opens fire. Bullets fly everywhere. Steve escapes in the chaos. He meets Ryan, an ex-military friend, hands Villa over, and tells him to make her disappear forever. Ryan nods. Pat follows the wrong car. Tony's killer, Marco, finds Steve first, rams his car off the road, checks the wreck, and leaves thinking the job is done. Ryan suddenly realizes the house he chose is full of monsters who do worse than kill little girls. Sick with guilt, he storms in to get her out. He dies in the gunfire, but not before every monster drops. Villa grabs her keys and drives. On a twisting mountain road, Marco's car roars behind her. Pat sees both cars and joins the chase. Villa plays the cliffs perfectly. She brakes hard, jumps clear. Marco slams into her empty car and flips. She walks up and shoots him dead. Pat arrives seconds later, finds the body, then finds his daughter shaking in the dirt. He runs into his arms. "I'm never leaving you alone again," he whispers. A week later, Steve, somehow alive after the crash, limps into Tony's office, still clueless who sent the killer. Tony smiles, asks about Perfidia, listens to Steve's twisted version. "She raped me, wanted a strong white baby." Tony pretends to believe him, shows him his shiny new office, then leaves. Gas hisses through the vents. Steve dies choking. Men in masks carry the body out and burn every piece. Pat finally sits Villa down. He hands her the letter Perfidia left years ago. Villa reads it out loud, voice breaking. "My darling girl, I am your mother. I always wanted to meet you, but I was too afraid. I left when you were tiny because I thought the fight was bigger than love. I failed to change the world. Please live the life you want and never leave your father. He is the best man I ever knew." Villa folds the letter, looks at Pat, and smiles through tears. Days later, she teaches her old man how to use a phone. Then she steps into the shadows, wearing the French 75 colors her parents once wore, ready to fight for a better world. And with that, one hell of a story comes to an end.